Hey guys, how's it going? This is Khan, Mr. So Real, and welcome to another episode of the State of the Game covered by yours truly. And in this State of the Game, we're going to be talking about the new changes that are coming with the PTS2 and some of the other things that were talked about in the State of the Game. So if you happen to miss it, then you shouldn't be too far off as long as you watch this video. Now, as we did with last week, I'll give you guys a little bit of a heads up on some of the important things that I will not be showing video of, but I think are important and that you guys need to know, basic coverage of it, and some of the other things from the Q&A towards the end to save some time. And then the important bits that I feel you guys need to hear from the horse's mouth, I will throw some video in towards the end, and that will pretty much wrap it up. So starting off with what's been going on with the division and what is it that's going on this week. Well, first of all, there was a maintenance the other day, and that maintenance was to fix a glitch with players being able to go through the walls. That has now been patched yet again. And also starting July the 7th, which is today at the recording, until the 10th, there will be a double daily reward bonus. So all of the daily rewards that you do will grant you double bonus. The PTS2 is now out on PC. The patch notes are in the description, so if you'd like to see what are the changes in PTS2, you can go ahead and check that out. Little bit of a heads up, it's a lot of bug fixes mostly. There's also been some fixes to the classified gear can now be recalibrated, which it wasn't working before, but now they can be recalibrated at the recalibration station. And the classified gear will roll between 1274 and 1401. So just keep that in mind that they can go up to 1401. Now, the PTS2 global events have started, and the theme is called Outbreak. And with this Outbreak, you do more damage with headshots. The PTS on console and the PTS on PC will be different. They will be a little bit different in terms of their time schedule. I believe I covered that in the video, but just in case I didn't add that in there, basically by the time the PTS comes out on console, the PTS on PC will be in week 3, and the PTS will be the week 2 version for the console. So we'll be a little bit behind, but it'll pretty much be a lot of the same stuff, although the PC version will have a few new additions probably in that 3rd week. Now, a question came up during the stream where someone asked, why is the console PTS set at 10,000 per platform? And that's because if it wasn't, then they would have to actually invite everyone. It wouldn't be an invite system. It would be more like an open beta where anyone could come and try it out and play test it, but without even knowing what to do with the game. So they really want to get feedback from players who actually know the game and have some way to input and who are invested in the game. So that's why they're going with the top 10,000 players per platform on PlayStation and on Microsoft's console. So yeah, if you're wondering about that, then that's why. So another thing is, why is it only 10,000? Why not have more? And the main reason is because they want to test the servers to make sure that their servers can handle 10,000 or even more than 10,000 people playing the PTS at, whatever amount of time. Now, the last thing that I'll get into before we get into the videos is the Q&A. Some people asked some Q&A, and some of these questions were pretty good, so I figured I'd throw them in there. What's the word on the other sets? Will they be tested in this PTS? And the testing for that is pretty much a no. They will not be testing any other sets during this PTS in terms of classified gear. So don't really expect those. They'll maybe be coming around the time of 1.8. They'll start talking about that or implementing that, whichever way. The PTS is probably going to run around 3 to 4 weeks. But there is no set time of how long the PTS will be up, but it should be around the longest time that they usually run with the PTS. There are no new weapons coming in 1.7, so don't expect any exotics. there are no zombies coming into the game. I know somebody asked me about zombies during my live stream. And yeah, there are no zombies coming into the game. Unfortunately, I would love to see some zombies or something to that effect, but hey, who am I, right? The next thing is that high-end classifieds are not being talked about at the moment. There's no real talks about it, so you may not see them, but right now they're focusing on the classified gear sets. So depending on how successful that is and how the meta ends up working, we'll see how that goes. At the moment, high-ends and high-ends and exotics will not have any kind of stat boost. So the highest, I guess the highest rated gear will be the classifieds. You'll probably want to be grinding for those. And that is pretty much it for the Q&A for the questions that I thought were really worth talking about. So why don't we get into some of the questions that really got answered via video, so you can see what Yannick said exactly.
Obviously, one of the big discussions has been classified gear sets and the striker. So the striker, is it OP? Is it great? Is it, how is it? Basically, the way we look at it is that we want classified gear to be, we want it to be good. We want it to be better. We want it so that when, as a player, when you get a full classified gear set, you should be able to do pretty much, anything in the game, because that's really when you, if you min-max a classified gear set, that's when you should feel like you've mastered the game and you should be able to do pretty much everything. So obviously, the striker is there. It's probably a bit too far there, and if you've seen the patch notes already for PTS2, you will see that we've kind of tweaked it a bit, but we don't want to tweak it too much because we think that this is pretty much, like the power level where we want the players to be when they have mastered or completely, completed a classified set. Now, of course, do keep in mind that when the update actually comes out, min-maxing a full set is actually going to take way longer than what it takes on the PTS. So that's also something that that may influence the perception that you guys get from the PTS right now, because right now it's very easy. You just go to to the vendor, you get your caches, and you directly get a full set. That's not going to be the case when the global events come out. Actually, with the update, there won't be these caches. You will actually have to grind for the set, and it's going to take a while to get it. So it's not going to be directly this kind of transition where suddenly everybody is completely OP. Classified will kill the PvP. I mean, classified should, they should balance between each other. So it's more regarding PvE that you're going to be pretty strong when you get a complete classified gear set. But it's in PvP, if everybody is in classified, they should balance out. What we did with Striker classified is basically we changed the 6-piece talent. It used to be that it would give you, 0.1% per stack of health per second. So if you would have 100 stack, you would get 10% of health plus 0.01% per 1,000 stamina. So if you were at, say, 6,000 stamina, you would actually get 16% health per second when you have the 100 stack. What we did now is we changed the 1,000 stamina requirements to 2,000. So basically, the extra health that you get, depending on your stamina, has been divided by 2. So what that means with the 6,000 example, for example, if you have 6,000 stamina, you would get 16% health per second with a 100 stack. Now you're going to get 13%. So that's a decrease of the amount of health you get, but the mechanics haven't changed. So it's still going to be the same. It's still going to be pretty good. Obviously, it still has better stats as a classified set than other items. It's just the health, the healing effect is going to be a bit lower than what it used to be. And we think that hopefully we don't need to do much more than that. As we said, we want it, and we want all the classified to be powerful. Half of 16 is 8. Yes. So all right, let's do math together. So you get 0.1% per stack. So when you get a 100% stack, you get 10%. That's a given. That's not related to your stamina. But on top of that, you get 0.01% per 2,000 stamina you have. So if you have 6,000 stamina, you get 0.03% on top of your 0.1% per stack. So that means per stack, you get 0.13%, which makes it 13% when you have a 100 stack. Consoles. So PTS on consoles, We are still on track for opening them next week. We're looking at towards the end of the week for opening the PTS on console, both platforms at the same time, end of the week. And that means that the invites and the preload should be available more towards the beginning of the week. So don't refresh your mailboxes, the whole weekend right now, because the invites are not sent today. They are not being sent tomorrow. They won't be sent this week. They will be sent early next week, beginning of next week. And we will, of course, let you know when the invites are being sent. The way we are selecting people is that first you have to have played in the last 30 days when we did the dump of profiles, and that was done about a week ago. So that means if you had been active in the 30 days prior to last week, you are going to be put in this data. So if you have a valid email address on your Uplay account and have been active in the 30 days, you go in a list, and then this list we sort it, or we rank it by total playtime since the game has launched. And we take the top 10,000 of this list, basically. So from the guy that played the most until the 10,000th player who played the most from that platform. And then again, if we want to have a second invite or second wave of invite, we are going to look at from number 10,001 and all the way down until, how many people we want to invite in total. What verification are you doing? So like what if we are actually inviting a player that has just been extremely active at launch and then very inactive and just logged in for 1.6 to check it out and didn't play? No, we don't have any extra step of verification on that. We're just looking at the pure data. We are not looking at when were you active, if it was more at the beginning or more towards now. What if a person cannot do the PTS? What if somebody receives an invite but can't do the PTS? And is there a way to transfer the invite? Actually, yes, because you're going to receive a key. And this key, you don't have to redeem it on your account. You can redeem it, you can give it to someone else. If you know you can do the PTS, you can give the key to someone else, and this someone else will actually be able to redeem it and access the PTS. The key is not linked to your account. Is high-end getting a stat boost? No. And yeah, we know, Kisolo, we know that high-ends are probably going to really not be on par with the new builds and the new meta, with 1.7, with the classified. So that might be something we need to look at, or maybe not. Maybe also we just accept the fact that high ends are just more a temporary thing when you're building your character, and then you actually are looking to move towards classified gear and exotics.
Until the next video, I'm Khan, Mr. So Real. If you like this and you like this format, you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that like button. If you're new, subscribe. I try to cover the division as best I can. And until the next video, basically it will be tomorrow where I do the vendor reset. I'll catch you guys later. Take it easy. Have a great weekend, and make sure you get those daily double bonuses. Oh, and one other thing. There are costumes being sold. If you didn't want to spend a whole lot of money on costumes, there are costumes being sold for the next 6 or 7 days, and they are pretty reduced. There's going to be one new costume being sold for about 75% off per day for the next 7 days, 6 or 7 days. Yesterday was the JTF. I'm not sure which one it is today, but you may want to hurry up and go check that out if you want to get some of the new costumes. They're at a much more reasonable price for an entire set, so check that out. And yeah, if you pick any of that up, leave a comment, let me know what you get, and I'll catch you guys later. Take it easy. Peace.